Hello there and welcome to this new video focusing on the upcoming Luminar NEO's big fall upgrade. Recently, I was able to test and play around with this upgraded Luminar NEO. And while in past we have covered this big upgrade, we have talked about all the new features, updates, upgrades, in today's video I just want to go into the application and show you how all of these new features are going to work. Now we have a lot to cover, so let's go ahead and start right now. Okay, so moving into Luminar NEO, where we're gonna start in the catalog module, first looking at the Smart Search. So the Smart Search, or the new feature, allows you to look for much more than just name and date of your photo. With this machine learning based search, you're able to look for elements in the image or objects. For example, things like trees, stop signs, and cars. So how does it work? Well, you have to import your images, and I did import 1282, but I can import more. Now I like to use the folders for this, so we're gonna click on the plus sign, select the folder with the year 2020 and add few more 100 images. Well, let's do that. Click on add folder. And when I do that, you will notice the yellow bar going under the search bar. Well, this yellow bar indicates that the images are scanned and added into the Smart Search. As you've seen, it only takes few seconds, and once it's done, the images are ready to be part of that Smart Search. So how does it work? Well, let's select all photos and let's try it. Now to access the bar, we can click on search here, or we can use Command or Control F. Once we open the search bar, we can start typing. So let's start with something simple like sheep. After that, when we type the word, we will get a message saying images with sheep, 12 items. Now we can click on this bar, and just like that, we have images with sheep. Now it's almost perfect. We have one with cow and one with some kind of white texture, but it's not too bad. So let's try again. Let's again hit Command or Control F, and this time let's look for lake. Very simply, we now get 117 items or images with lake on it. So let's see. If we click on that, we have lots of images with lake. Now, of course, it's not perfect. I can see one with river here, but in overall, it's not bad at all. Well, let's finish it off one more time by going Command or Control F again. And let's go a little bit crazy. Let's say that we're gonna look for mountains with snow. Once we type that, we now can see that it found 49 images with mountains and snow. So let's click on that and see what we get. Yes, we have some texture with snow on it, that's fine. But actually we have lots of images with mountains and snow. Anyway, so this is the new Smart Search here in the catalog module of Luminar NEO, allowing you to search through your catalog and through your thousands of images using the very clever machine learning based search tool. For the time being, we're gonna stay in the catalog module and this time look at the improved catalog navigation. First come first, let's have a look at the newly updated filtering. Now we have one folder selected, that's fine, and above the image preview, there is a button called Old Photos. When you click on that, it will open a list of filters that you can use. Everything from edit, if the image was edited or unedited, all the way through flags, ratings, stars. You can also filter with the capture date, edit date, type of camera, focal length, ISO, aperture, shutter speed, and even file format. Now, these are my images from 2019. And back then, I was using Sony a7R Mark II and Nikon D5500. So let's say that I want to look at the images captured with the Sony. Well, I'm just going to click, and just like that, it will show me only images captured with that camera. But I can build my filters. So I can go back, and this time I can go into the focal length. And let's say that I want to see images captured with the 24 millimeters. Well, again, we get even further filter, capturing or showing images captured with the Sony a7R Mark II and 24 millimeters. Now, if you want to remove the filters, you just click on that and select Reset Filters. While we here still looking at preview of the images, when we go into the top right corner and select Detailed View, you will notice when I select the image that it will now show the name of the file, as well as the star rating and also the flag, favorite or rejected. While we have the image selected, here we can select the stars, anything from 0 to 5. Now you can click on the stars, or you can simply use the keyboard and use 1, 2, or 3, or 4, or 5 on your numeric keypad and select the stars from there. Again, you can also mark and flag your image from here. If this is a little bit overwhelming and it's too many informations, you can go back on the drop-down button here and switch from detailed view into the minimal view. And now, unless you hover over the image, all this information is hidden. And finally, before we finish, there is one more update when it comes to the catalog navigation, and that has to do with our folders and albums. Here in the folders, we get used to the plus sign, but next to it, we now have a new icon, and when we click on it, we can adjust the order of our folders. You can see that we have options from custom order, folder name, creation date, recently updated, photo count, ascending and descending. So custom order, very simple. We can basically just shift the different folders around based on how we like. But we can go further. We can sort them based on their folder name. And also, my favorite, we can sort them based on the photo count. So looking at it from the most images in the folder to the least. And right now, if you go and if you click on the icon again, you can change it to the ascending, where we're gonna have the least at the top and the most number of images at the bottom. And if you are a fan of albums, then you can do exactly the same there. Again, same icon and similar options. Before we leave the catalog module, I should also mention that all three of the generative tools received an update. Thanks to a new algorithm added to Gen Erase, Gen Swap, and Gen Expand, the users will be able to generate more detailed and realistic images with higher success rate. So if you are into these tools and you use them, then definitely give it a try and see if it improved and if it works better for you, allowing you to remove, replace, or expand your images. And finally, moving into Edit module, where we're gonna start by celebrating the arrival of the Filmstrip feature. Now, with the film strip at the bottom of our window or screen, we can switch or move between different images without the need of going back and forward to the catalog module. So this will have a great impact on our workflow and speed everything up. Now, looking closer at the film strip, how does it look? Well, we have the images here at the bottom. And when you have the image selected, you can also from here adjust the flag or number of stars. If you're editing one image and find the film strip distracting, then there is a little icon in the bottom of the screen and you can basically hide and unhide the film strip. Finally, there is an option to click on the circle with the 3 dots, which allow you to revert to original, create virtual copy, and save the image or edit as a preset. And talking about the virtual copy, let's have a look at that now. Okay, so moving on to virtual copy, which in my case is one of my favorite upcoming features. And the reason is that creating a virtual copy allows you basically to create multiple versions of a single photo without duplicating the original file. And furthermore, that allows us to experiment with different styles and sometimes even different crops. Just like in this example here. I have a lady with a red bag, and basically I wanted to change the color of the bag, but I wasn't sure what I want. So I started to adjust the red, and first thing I end up with was orange. But I wanted to compare it with another color. So I created the virtual copy by right-clicking on the image and selecting Creating Virtual Copy, or furthermore, circle with 3 dots and again create virtual copy. And on the next virtual copy, I change the color to blue. So now I can easily use the arrows on my keyboard and go between the 3 different colors to see which one I like the most. Or again, of course, you can just click on the different images and compare them between each other. Talking about changing color of an item or cloth or anything on the image brings us nicely to the next new feature, and that's color masking. With the upgraded version of Luminar NEO, you will be able to create mask based on selected color or colors in your image. Now I'm going to show you how to do that, because we can nicely use it for changing a color of an object or element in the photo. So let's select this image right here, and to change the color in the past, we would have to go into the color tool, then use the masking tab where we would select the brush and basically spend quite some time selecting the dress. Once we would select the dress, we would go back to the adjustments and basically adjust the hue shift until we like the result. However, this wasn't always possible. Depending on the shape of the dress, depending on the shape of the item, on the background, and many other things, it was sometimes just not possible. Or if it was possible, it would take forever. So let's reset this. Just very quickly going into adjustments and revert to original and back to our color tool. The idea is still same. We're gonna use the hue shift to change the color. Let's say that we want to change it from blue into this nice cyan. However, if we use that for the whole image, of course it changes the skin and many other things. So this is where our new masking tool steps in. Well, let's go into the masking, and this time instead of going into the brush, we're gonna go into the color. By doing that, we have entered the color masking, and when we hover over the image, our mouse actually changed from the arrow into this little eyedropper. And on the top of it, when we hover around, you can also see the zoomed in preview of that area. So let's go ahead and just select the color. Once we do that, you will notice a red overlay. The red overlay will indicate the area that is selected. So not too bad to start with. We have a lots of blue selected. You can click around and see if you have a better luck selecting the blue. However, for me, I think something maybe like this is good start. Now let's go back to the color masking where we have adjustment or slider called range. With the range slider, we can increase it, and by doing that, it will include more of the color or similar colors. Now, if we go too far, you will notice that it will start to include other colors like the corner of the image and also the hair. So we don't want to overdo it. Let's go down and keep an eye on the corner until it pretty much disappears, which I think is probably around the 50. Now, that's a good start anyway. Don't worry about it. We're going to go into the adjustments. So that's the first step, and then back to masking. This time, we're going to select another part of the blue, so different shade, very easily click on it, and again, go back into the adjustments. Again, we are one step closer. And actually, if you would be doing it on your own, it would be very fast. You just keep an eye on the little detail window and look for the blue. Back to adjustments, back to masking. Now we have a darker areas here, like here, so we're going to select that. Now you can see that by selecting the darker area, it also selected her hair. So we need to adjust our range slider. We're going to bring it down until it disappears from the hair. Back to adjustments. And again, back to masking. Let's just have a look. Maybe this area as well, just to make sure. back to adjustments, and one more, maybe masking. Let's just zoom in. Let's have a look. Probably this area. Yep, not too bad. I think we almost there. One more masking. Maybe just here. And that looks good. Now, if we go into the adjustments, to double check the result, it's always a good idea to adjust the hue shift. So let's say that I'm gonna go into the green. And actually, I think we are almost there. I just think that we have a little bit of blue on this area here. Well, so to adjust this, back to masking, let's select the blue here, somewhere in this area. Yep, that's good. And one more, because I can see that we have still blue in this darker part. Adjust the range to somewhere around here. Oh, that's too much, somewhere here. And that looks good. So back, now we have a green dress, and back to our cyan or aqua. Now, before I show you the brand new color transfer tool, I want to quickly remind you that this upgrade video is powered by our Luminar NEO Autumn Bundle. The Autumn Bundle includes over 721 new autumn elements that power up your Luminar NEO tools. Get it today and get high definition presets, LUTs, skies, overlays, textures, backgrounds, frames, and working layers to transform your autumn images with just a few clicks. Plus, on the top of it, with the upcoming Halloween season, the bundle also includes a bonus Halloween bundle with incredible Halloween-themed elements. Now, to get the best possible price for this bundle, follow the link in the description of this video, and to find out more about it, head to our website cleverphotographer.com. Okay, so that was the Autumn Bundle, and now it's time to jump on the brand new tool called Color Transfer. If you saw one of our preview videos earlier, you probably already know what it does, but anyway, still to cover it, the Color Transfer tool allows you to transfer luminosity and color from the reference image on your own image. Now, I have a nice sample file here with a lady in that kind of romantic dress. She almost looked like from fantasy movie. So my idea for this image was to borrow the colors from very popular Amazon series called Rings of Power. So let's do that. Now we need to navigate into our main editing toolbar, where this new tool is in the creative section. Once you find the tool, simply click on it to open it. Now let's make it nice and visible, and let's have a look at the options here. We have the reference selection drop-down box and number of controllers. To start with, the controllers are grayed out, which giving us a sign that we need to start with selecting the reference image. We're gonna click on the drop-down box, and inside you will see a similar view to the Sky AI. It's basically a little library. We have some images already coming with the application, but as I mentioned, I want to use my own. So to do that, we're going to click on the plus sign and new window will open. Here, I already have the reference image ready. So let me make it big. This is basically a scene from the Rings of Power. I really like it because I like the color scheme, the glow, and the overall warmth. So we're going to use that. We're going to select it and we're going to click on open. Now, once we do that, the reference image is brought in and it will appear on the top of the reference drop-down box. So we can immediately see which image we're using. So once it's selected, it already applied some color and luminosity to our photo. And it looks quite nice. I mean, we can have a look at the before and after, and it looks much more fantasy-like. However, we can, of course, fine-tune it. So what are the options here? The amount slider, which allows us to basically completely remove the color transfer or really push it as far as it goes. Now by default it's on 60, so for the time being let's leave it there. After that we have two sliders for intensity, one adjusting the color and one adjusting luminosity. So you can pretty much remove all the color transferred from the reference photo. so you would be transferring just the luminosity, or you can do the opposite. You can remove the luminosity and really just bring the color. Or you can, of course, adjust it in between, depending on what you're looking for. After that, if you want to go even further, we have two more sliders, transition smoothing and color smoothing. With the transition smoothing, it basically smooths the transition of the colors and luminosity from the reference image to our own photo. The default 50 so far for me works the best. However, you can really push it and really smooth it, which works quite well, but you will notice when you go through different examples that the level and the amount of color and luminosity transferred goes lower. It's not as strong. Where the opposite, when we push it down, we remove the smoothing, we bring all the luminosity and color, but sometimes the result is a little bit too contrasty. So, as I say, the default 50 usually works quite well. And finally, the last slider, the color smoothing. So from the reference image, we bring different colors. They are applied to different parts of the photo. And the color smoothing allows us to basically create a nice natural gradient between the colors. So again, by increasing it, you will have more smoothing between the colors, and by bringing it down, you will have less. Now, as you notice, this slider doesn't have a huge impact on the result. However, it's important to know what it does. And finally, the last option here is this little checkbox called Match Similar Objects Colors. This is a very handy tool, especially if you're referencing or using a reference image that has a similar objects or elements in the photo. So imagine I would be using a reference image with the woman and lady on it in a similar position with grass, trees, and again, very similar scene as I am using. When I click on the Match Similar Object Colors, it would then look for the elements on the reference photo, mark down the colors and luminosity, and then bring them onto our image, applying them in the same areas. However, this tool or this feature works the best on images that are very similar to each other. So try it, see how it works for you, and use it if you can. Now, before I finish, just a quick reminder that of course we're gonna have a full tutorial on how to use this tool, where I'm gonna talk about the tool even further. I will again describe all the different controllers, and I will show you how to use the tool for different types of edits, all the way to the real extreme color and luminosity transfer. And that's the end of today's video. If you have any question about Luminar NEO or photography in overall, then write it into the comment section under this video. If you enjoyed it, then like and share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss any of our future content. For today, my name is Jacob Bors, and I already can't wait to see you in our future videos.